The world can wait. We're watching clouds together. The phones can buzz, the clocks can spin. There's something better in the weather. The way her finger traces where the clouds begin. Within clouds together. I used to think that time was gold. Every minute lost was a story untold. I'd check my phone 100 times, afraid of missing the bottom line. She took the screen out of my hand, said, "Look up, try to understand. There's a rabbit in that cloud right there, and you're missing it because you care too much. Care too much." Now I'm lying in the grass with her, watching cumulus and surf stir. The world can scream its urgent plea, but the clouds are all that matters to me, matters to me. The world can wait. We're watching clouds together, clouds together. Whenever the phone can ring, I'll send it to never, forever. That one looks like a heart, she says, and I forget the world and all its dread. The world can wait. We're watching clouds together, and I'll stay forever. I remember when I couldn't pause. Every second had a cause. Every moment had to count for something. Alright, feel the panic coming, panic coming. She laughed and pointed at the sky, said that cloud is a dragon flying by. Does it care about your to-do list? Does it worry about the things you missed? Things you missed? I said no, it just drifts and floats. She smiled and cleared my worried throat. Then be the cloud, be the sky. The world can wait, just you and I. You and I. The world can wait. We're watching clouds together, clouds together. Whenever the phone can ring, I'll send it to never, forever. That one looks like a heart, she says. I forget the world and all its dread. The world can wait. We're watching clouds together. They ask me, aren't you wasting precious time? I tell them, time is not a dollar bill. It's a cloud drifting over a hill. You can't save it, you can't invest. You can only watch it and let it rest, let it rest, rest. She taught me that the urgent is a liar. Most of what we fear is just a fire we built inside our desperate chests. But the clouds don't know about our tests, our tests. So let the world keep spinning fast. I've found a piece that's built to last in a field of grass with her by my side, watching the clouds to shore, but this moment right here, her hand in mine, is the only thing that matters in all of time. All of time. The world can wait. We're watching clouds together. Clouds together. Whenever the phone can ring, I'll send it to never, forever. That one looks like a heart, she says. I forget the world and all its dread. The world can wait. We're watching clouds together. Clouds together. And I'm not moving, not for anything, not ever. Clouds together. Clouds together.
The sand remembers where we lay. The tide can wash, the wind can blow, but the grains keep the shape of our body from an afternoon so long ago. Long ago. Down below, the sand remembers. I took you to a beach that had no name, just a stretch of shore, just a flickering flame. We spread a blanket on the golden ground, and the word forgot to make a sound. Make a sound. You traced my name into the sand. I held your fingers with my hand. The ocean watched but didn't speak. It knew that this was Holy Week. Holy Week. We didn't know that time would pass. We thought the beach would always last, but the tide came in and took our trace. But something deeper stayed in place. Stayed in place. The sand remembers where we lay, where we lay. Every day the ocean cannot wash away what the sand chose to keep. The tide erased the prints we made, but the ground beneath will never fade. The sand remembers where we lay, where we used to sleep. I went back to that beach alone. The shoreline looked like a different home. The blanket was gone, the sun was low, but I felt your body in the undertow. I knelt down and touched the sand, hoping to feel your sleeping hand. The grains were cold, but they held a heat, a memory I couldn't defeat. The ocean whispered your old laugh. I closed my eyes and saw the half of us that left an imprint deep, that even the tide was afraid to keep. Afraid to keep. The sand remembers where we lay, where we lay. Every day the ocean cannot wash away what the sand chose to keep. The tide erased the prints we made, but the ground beneath will never fade. The sand remembers where we lay. They say nothing lasts forever, not even stone. I tell them they've never known the way the sand holds on to what it loves, the way the beach refuses to let go of us. Let go of us. The sand trusts. The sand trusts. The sand trusts. The sand trusts. Always moving, always taking, always proving that change is the only constant rule. But the sand is a different kind of fool. It keeps the shape of every kiss, every lover, every bliss. It holds the weight of every hand that ever pressed into this land. Now I visit that beach every year, the same spot where we held each other near. The water's different, the wind has changed, but the sand beneath has been arranged, in the exact same curve and dip where I once held your sleeping hip. I lay down and close my eyes and feel you rising with the tides, The sand remembers even now. It kept its promise, kept its vow. The ocean came and came again, but our shape never moved, not even an inch. The sand remembers where we lay every day. The ocean cannot wash away what the sand chose to keep. The tide erased the prints we made, but the ground beneath will never fade. The sand remembers where we lay. The sand remembers where we lay. The sand remembers where we lay. Sand. The world can change, the tide can turn, the ocean can churn, and crash and yearn. But the sand holds what it wants to keep, the shape of us, the love so deep.
We fell asleep before the candle burned out. The flame was flickering, we had no doubt that sleep was more important than the light. So we closed our eyes and held on tight. Good night. So right. Before the candle burned out. I used to stay awake till the very end, watching every flame descend. I thought if I closed my eyes too soon, I'd miss the magic of the dying moon. Dying moon. She took my hand and pulled me close, said let the candle be the ghost that watches over us tonight. Your sleep is more important than the light, than the light. Now I don't fight the closing eye, I let the darkness gently sigh. The candle can burn or it can fade. I've got her warmth and I've got her shade, got her shade. We fell asleep before the candle burned. have its sting. I'd watch the candle till the very last spark, afraid of falling asleep in the dark, in the dark. She laughed and said, "You're missing the point. The candle is not a holy joint. It's just a light to help us see. The real warmth is you and me, you and me." Now I let the wax drip down the glass. I let the flickering shadows pass. Her hand in mine, her breath so deep, is the only promise I need to keep, need to keep. We fell asleep before the candle burned out. Candle burned out, no doubt. The flame was tired. We were two, me and you. The wax could melt, the wick could die, but we'd already closed our sleepy eyes. We fell asleep before the candle burned out. They asked me, "Didn't you want to see the end?" I tell them, the end was never the point. The candle was just a tiny joint between the darkness and the light. But her hand in mine was the real invite, all night. We didn't need to watch the wax run dry. We needed to close the weary eye, to let the sleep come like a tide, and rest our heads where love can hide, where love can hide. The candle could have burned for hours more, but we found something worth sleeping for. Not a flame, not a wick, not a light, just the warmth of each other through the night. Now every evening when the sun goes down, we light a candle in this sleepy town. But we never make it to the final glow. We always drift before the wax runs low, wax runs low. I wake up sometimes in the morning light to find the candle finished its fight. But I don't regret the sleep I chose. Her heartbeat is the only thing that rose, thing that rose. So let the candles burn or let them die. I'll close my eyes without a why. Her hand in mine, her breath so deep, is the only promise I need to keep, need to keep. We fell asleep before the candle burned out. Candle burned out, no doubt. The flame was tired. We were two, me and you, me and you. The wax could melt, the wick could die, but we'd already closed our sleepy eyes. We fell asleep before the candle burned out, candle burned out. And I wouldn't change a single thing. We fell asleep before the candle burned out, yeah. Sleep. The wax is cold now, the wick is done, but we woke up next to the only sun. Her smile, her skin, her morning breath. The candle lost, but we won the rest.
The stars got jealous of how peaceful we were. They've been burning for millions of years, but they've never felt a silence like ours. So they flickered and they watched and they learned. Jealous, precious, precious, how peaceful we were. We were just lying in the backyard grass. The world could spin, let it pass. No conversation, no need for sound. The most beautiful silence I've ever found, ever found. The dogs were sleeping, the wind was still. The neighbors' lights had all gone chill. Just a hand in mine in the sky above. The quietest kingdom, the softest love, the softest love. I looked up and noticed the stars seemed odd. They were twinkling faster, almost a nod, like they were whispering to each other. Have you ever seen two humans recover? The stars got jealous of how peaceful we were. How peaceful we were. Every whisper, they've been burning, but they've never heard. Never heard. Not a word, a silence so deep it made them stop and wish they had a heart to drop. The stars got jealous of how peaceful we were, and they couldn't compete with her. I pointed up at a shooting star, said make a wish before it goes too far. She didn't speak, she just held my hand, and the star burned out on command. On command. I asked her, what did you wish for? In a whisper, she put her finger to my lips like a zipper. Said the stars are listening, let them wonder. Some things are better kept down under. Down under. The stars above began to crowd like they wanted to hear, but they weren't allowed into the circle of a quiet grace. So they just watched from outer space. Outer space. The stars got jealous of how peaceful we were. How peaceful we were. Every whisper, they've been burning, but they've never heard. Never heard. Not a word, a silence so deep it made them stop and wish they had a heart to drop. The stars got jealous of how peaceful we were. They say the stars are made of fire and gas, but I say they're made of envy and mass. Because they watched us lie there side by side and felt something they've never tried. Never tried. Deep inside, deep inside, the peace we had was not a thing. It was a bird with a broken wing that learned to fly without a sound. The most beautiful thing I've ever found. Ever found. The stars can burn for 1 billion years, but they'll never know the quiet that clears a human
get it right, get it right. The stars got jealous of how peaceful we were, how peaceful we were. Every whisper, they've been burning, but they've never heard, never heard. Not a word, a silence so deep it made them stop and wish they had a heart to drop. The stars got jealous of how peaceful we were, how peaceful we were, and they're still trying to catch up. How peaceful we were. Stars. The stars.
We don't need a calendar to count our love. No anniversaries marked in ink above. Every morning is a reason to stay. Every evening is another day of grace. Another day of grace. Some people circle dates in red. The day they met, the words they said. They count the months, they count the years. They measure love in souvenirs, in souvenirs, in silent tears. But we just wake up side by side. No need to check how many times I've rolled between our first hello and the woman I'm still getting to know, still getting to know. Watch me grow. Every sunrise is our first. Every thirst is quenched with trust. We don't need a numbered page to know we've made it through every age. We don't need a calendar to count our love, count our love, count our love. No number on the wall, no star above, no star above, just us. Every breath is a celebration. Every touch is a new foundation. We don't need a calendar to count our love. I remember when they asked us how long. We looked at each other and said, what's wrong with living like the river flows? No beginning, no ending, just where it goes, just where it goes. Heaven knows they wanted a number, a neat little fact, a date on a card that they could track. But our love doesn't live on a timeline grid. It lives in the quiet things we did, quiet things we did. Secret, the way she holds me when I'm cold, the stories that will never get old, the morning coffee without a word, the funniest joke I've ever heard. We don't need a calendar to count our love, count our love, count our love. No number on the wall, no star above, no star above, just us. Every breath is a celebration. Every touch is a new foundation. We don't need a calendar to count our love. They ask me, what's your secret? How do you keep it fresh? I tell them, we don't keep it, we just let it breathe. We don't count the years, we recount the seeds that grew into gardens we never planned. Without a date, without a demand, without a demand, hand in hand. Every day is day one, every There's no old love when the love is true. We We don't need a number to prove we stayed. We just wake up grateful, unafraid, unafraid. The choice we made. A calendar is for appointments and ends, but our love is a circle without a bend. Now when people ask me how long has it been, I smile and say I don't know where to begin. Not because I forgot, but because time is not a ruler for what's yours and mine. What's yours and mine combined. She's not my own love, she's mine now. The same woman who made me learn how to stop counting days like they were deaths. She's the only future I'll ever get. No regret. So let them keep their paper and their pens, their anniversary dates, their when. I'll keep her hand in the morning light. No calendar needed, it feels right. We don't need a calendar to count our love. Count our love, count our love. No number on a wall, no star above. No star above, just us. Every breath is a celebration. Every touch is a new foundation. We don't need a calendar to count our love. We don't need a calendar to count our love. Count our love, count our love. We just live it every morning, every night. We don't need a calendar to count our love. Timeless. No years, no months, no number days. Just the quiet way she says my name. Just the morning light across her face. And the feeling that we've won the race without a time. We don't need a calendar to know we're fine. And it felt like a prayer. Not the kind you recite from a book, but the kind you find in the space between two people who will finally stop looking. Stop looking. Cooking a prayer. The clock on the wall had a heartbeat of its own. Tick, tick, tick. But we had already flown to a place where time was just a rumor. I could feel my panic turning into humor. Turning into humor. She used to think I was afraid of the quiet. She said, your mouth runs like a riot. But that was before we learned to sit in the holy silence of the infinite. Holy silence. At first my tongue was a cage bird, flapping against my teeth every word, begging to be born to fill the air. But she held my hand and I stayed there. Stayed there. We didn't speak for an hour, and it felt like a prayer. Like a prayer. Everywhere. The kind that doesn't need a chair. No chair. Just air. I counted her breaths like rosary beads and found forgiveness for all my needs. We didn't speak for an hour, refrigerator engine finally gave up at last. The whole world seemed to hold its breath, as if it knew that silence was not death. I thought about all the years I wasted, talking over every silence I tasted, afraid that if I stopped I'd disappear. But she was still here, still right here, still right here. Her thumb drew circles on my knuckle bone, a language that I'd never known. Every loop a sentence, every press a phrase, the most beautiful conversation in a haze, in a haze. We didn't speak for an hour, and it felt like a prayer, everywhere. The kind that doesn't need a chair, no chair, just air. I counted her breaths like rosary beads, and found forgiveness for all my needs. We didn't speak for an hour, and it felt like a prayer. They asked me, what did the silence say? I tell them, it said everything I've been trying to say for 40 years. It said, you're safe here, you don't have to disappear. It said the words you're chasing are just ghosts. The truth lives in the spaces, not the posts, not the posts. Holy Ghost. At 30 minutes I felt a tear escape, not from sadness but from the shape of a silence that finally fit my frame. I wasn't broken, I was just untamed, just untamed. She didn't ask me why I cried, she just held my hand and stayed inside the circle of our quiet and our calm, her thumb still drawing circles on my palm. Now every Sunday we set aside an hour where words go to hide. We don't call it church, we don't call it prayer, we just sit together and we stay there, stay there. Sometimes I peek at her through half-closed eyes. She's looking out the window at the skies, and I realize that God might be the silence sitting between her and me, between her and me. I used to beg the heavens for a sign, a burning bush, a holy line, but the only sign I'll ever need is an hour of silence with her, and the way she breathes, the way she breathes. Oh, we didn't speak for an hour, and it felt like a prayer, everywhere. The kind that doesn't need a chair, no chair, just stare, just stare. I counted her breaths like rosary beads, and found forgiveness for all my needs. We didn't speak for an hour, and it felt like a prayer, and I found God in the silence there. We didn't speak for an hour, and it felt like a prayer, yeah. Who knows, who knows, I've been wrong before. I've been wrong so many times, but this time feels different. Who knows, who knows, who knows, but I think she's the one. I've been in love, or so I thought. Bought the flowers, fought the fought. Gave my heart to pretty faces. Ended up in empty spaces. Empty spaces. Different places. I told myself never again. Love is just a pain, my friend. I built my walls up to the sky. Said goodbye to every why. Every why. Every lie. Then she walked in, not trying hard. Just being her without a guard. No fireworks, no marching band. Just a woman who understands. Understands. Holds my hands. And now I'm sitting here confused. The skeptic in me is so abused by hope, by possibility. What if she's the one for me? Who knows? But I think she's the one. She's the one, she's the one. After all the damage, after all the run, after all the run under. I've been wrong 1,000 times before, but something different when she walks through the door. Who knows? But I think she's the one. My friends all say you move too fast. Remember what happened to you last. She broke your heart into 1,000 pieces. Now you're just collecting creases. Collecting creases. Healing leashes. But they don't see the way she looks at me, like I'm the only man she's ever wanted to see. They don't hear her laugh when I'm a fool, or the way she makes me break my own rule. Break my rule, play it cool. I'm not saying I'm sure, I'm not saying I know. I've been down this road before and it hurt to go. But every time I try to walk away, she pulls me back and I want to stay. Want to stay. Come what may. So maybe this time is different, maybe not. But I'd rather risk it all than lose the plot. Who knows? But I think she's the one. She's the one, she's the one. After all the damage, after all the run, after all the run under. I've been wrong 1,000 times before, but something different when she walks through the door. But I think she's the one. They ask me, what makes her different? She doesn't try to fix me, she just sees me. She doesn't run away when I'm not easy. She holds the silence when I need to think. She holds the water when I need to drink. Need to drink. Need to think. Need to think. She knows my story, knows the scars. She doesn't ask me to lower my guard. She just stands there, steady and true. And for some reason, she wants me to. Wants me to. Sees me through. I can't promise forever, can't promise fate. I've learned that love can make you wait and wait and wait for something real. But with her, I forget how to feel. Afraid, betrayed, but she stayed. So who knows? Maybe this time, maybe not. But I'd rather try than wonder what I lost. I woke up this morning, she was still asleep. Her hand on my chest, her breathing deep. And for a moment the world stood still. No fear, no doubt, no bitter pill. Bitter pill. Over the hill, I watched her sleep, and I thought to myself, what if I put the doubt back on the shelf. What if I just let myself believe that she's the one I'm meant to receive? Meant to receive, meant to believe. I don't have the answers, I don't have proof. I just know my heart, for heaven's sake, forsooth, has never beat this quiet before, has never felt so sure, and so unsure. So unsure, but so pure. So I just hold on and take the leap, and trust that love is not a thing to keep in a box, in a cage, in a fearful mind. She's the one I think I'm ready to find. Who knows? But I think she's the one. She's the one, she's the one. After all the damage, after all the run, after all the run under the sun. I've been wrong 1,000 times before, but something different when she walks through the door. Who knows? But I think she's the one. Who knows? But I think she's the one. She's the one, she's the one. Yeah, I think she's the one. Who knows? But I think she's the one. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but I'd rather love than be right every night. She makes me brave, she makes me try. So I'll take the leap and I won't ask why. We let the sun set itself, no need to rush. The sky will turn when it's ready to blush. We just sit here, shoulder to shoulder, watching the daylight grow older and older. Older, slower, no need to rush. I used to chase the fading light, wanted to hold it, wanted to fight. Every sunset felt like a loss, something I couldn't get across, couldn't get across. She took my hand and said, just wait, the sun knows how to navigate. It doesn't need your anxious breath to find its way to the other side of death. Other side of death, just rest. Now I sit beside her as the sky turns red. No more hurry, no more dread. The sun is wiser than my plan. It knows exactly when to land, when to land, understand. We let the sun set itself, no need to rush, no need to rush, no need to push. The evening knows its own way down, way down, slow down. I used to raise the fading crown, but she taught me to just sit and be found. We let the sun set itself, no need to rush. And it's enough. I remember when I couldn't stand the weight. Every slow thing felt like a mistake. I measured time in what was done, not in the setting of the sun. The setting sun, not one. She said, watch how the light takes its leave. No struggle, no need to grieve. It doesn't rush to meet the night, it just releases. And that's its might, that's its might. Feels right now. Every evening I learn to let go of all the clocks that told me slow was failure, was falling behind. Her patience heals my frantic mind, peace I find. We let the sun set but she taught me to just sit and be found. We let the sun set itself, no need to rush. They ask me, don't you feel like you're wasting time? I tell them, watching the sunset with her is the only time I've ever felt my worth. The world says hurry, the day is brief. She says the evening is its own relief. Its own relief. Believe we don't race the darkness, we greet its flow. Let the stars appear when they're ready to show. The sun knows something I'm learning to learn, that the way it leaves is the way it returns. The way it returns, the way it burns. Now every sunset is a little prayer, a moment of silence we get to share. No phones, no schedules, no alarm, just her hand in mine and the evening's charms. Evening's charms, open arms. The sky turns orange, then purple, then blue, and I'm not anxious about what I didn't do, because I did the most important thing. I sat with love as the light took wing. Light took wing, didn't miss a thing. So let the world keep running its race. I found my peace in the slower pace. Her hand in mine, the fading sun, we let it set, and the day is one, not undone. We let the sun set itself, no need to rush, no need to rush, no need to push. The evening knows its own way down, way down. Slow down, I used to race the fading crown, but she taught me to just sit and be found. We let the sun set itself, no need to rush, no need to rush, no need to push. And the sky has never been more beautiful. We let the sun set itself, no need to rush. Sunset. Tomorrow the sun will rise again, but tonight we let it end on its own time. No clocks, no deadlines, no warning bell, just the evening and the woman who taught me well to let the light take its time. No need to rush. She closed my eyes with a whisper, not with her fingers, not with her hand, just a breath that smelled like jasmine. And I understood I could finally land. Land. Sand. Sand. My eyes were heavy from years of watching. Every corner, every door latching. I kept them open in the darkest night, afraid that closing them would steal the light. Steal the light. She leaning close, her lips against my lid, not to kiss, just a breath, the quietest bid, for my attention to surrender to the darkness that was tender. Tender. She said, let go, I watched the world for you. You've been holding up the sky, now let it break in two. I didn't know I needed permission to sleep until a whisper finally reached the deep. Reached the deep. She closed my eyes with a whisper, with a whisper. Sis. The world grew soft, the edges kissed her, blister. I didn't fight fight the falling dark. She whispered something from her heart. She closed my eyes with a whisper, and I left my mark. I remember when I couldn't sleep at all. Every shadow was a curtain call for some disaster I was certain would arrive. So I kept my eyes alive, alive. The doctor gave me pills to shut the gate, but they only made me stay up late, fighting against the chemical tide. My eyes still open, nowhere to hide, nowhere to hide. She never tried to medicate my fear. She just waited till I let her near, and then she breathed a word I couldn't hear, and my eyes remembered how to disappear. How to disappear. She closed my eyes with a whisper, with a whisper. Sis, the world grew soft, the edges kissed her, kissed her, kissed her. I didn't fight the falling dark. She whispered something from her heart. She closed my eyes with a whisper. They asked me, what did she whisper? I tell them, I don't remember the words, I just remember the way they curved, the panic that had lived inside my chest. Her whisper gave my eyes a rest, gave my eyes a rest. Blessed. It wasn't a command, it wasn't a plea. It was just a sound that set me free from the prison of my open stare. She closed my eyes, and I found repair, found repair. I think she said, you're safe, you're mine. Or maybe let the dark be kind. Or maybe nothing, just a breath. But it was the sweetest kind of death, sweetest kind of death. Now every night before I drift, she leans in close, her lips a gift. She whispers something I can't quite catch, and my eyes close like a latch. I don't need pills or counting sheep. Her whisper is the only sleep that carries me across the divide between the waking and the other side. She asked me once, what do you dream about? I said you, and the way you shut me out of the world's harsh glare, and left me sleeping in your hair, in your hair. She closed my eyes with a whisper, with a whisper. Sis, the world grew soft, the edges kissed her, kissed her, kissed her. I didn't fight the falling dark. She whispered something from her heart. She closed my eyes with a whisper, and I've been sleeping ever since. She closed my eyes with a whisper, yeah. Whisper. The world can scream, the world can shout. Her whisper is the only route to the place where sleep is kind, where I leave my worried mind behind. She picked a flower and gave me the silence that followed. Not the flower itself, not the petals,
not the stem, but the quiet that came after her fingers let go. The kind of peace that doesn't need a hymn. Silence. Silence of the heart. I've been given many gifts in my life, rings and watches, comfort and strife. People handing me things with their hands, expecting applause and 1,000 thanks. 1,000 thanks. But she picked a wildflower from the side of the road, didn't brush off the dirt, didn't fix the broken note. She held it out to me with a quiet hand, and then she let me understand. The silence that followed was not empty space. It was a room where love could place its tired feet and weary head. The loudest peace I've ever had, ever had. She picked a flower and gave me the silence that followed. The silence that followed. The hollowness swallowed. No words could say what her quiet said. What her quiet said inside my head. The flower was pretty, but the silence was rare. The space where love hangs its prayer. She picked a flower and gave me the silence that followed, and my heart was spared. I remember when I couldn't take a pause. Every moment needed applause. I filled every gap with nervous chatter, afraid of the silence, afraid of the latter. She handed me the flower and then she stopped. No explanation, no tear that dropped, just her eyes on mine and the world on hold. The most beautiful story never told. I asked her, why did you give me the quiet? She said, because the noise is a riot that drowns out the things that matter most, like the shape of love, like the Holy Ghost, Holy Ghost. She picked a flower and gave me the silence that followed. The silence that followed. The hollowness swallowed. No words could say what her quiet said. What her quiet said inside my head. The flower was pretty, but the silence was rare. The space where love hangs its prayer. She picked a flower and gave me the silence that followed. They ask me, what was the best gift she ever gave you? I tell them, it wasn't the flower, it was the hour after the giving, when nothing was moving, nothing was living, except the space between her breath and mine. Between her breath and mine. Divine. The flower sat in my hand like a question, and her silence was the only suggestion that love doesn't need to be explained. It just needs to be contained, contained. In the quiet after the giving, that's where the real living began to happen, began to grow. The silence taught me what I needed to know, needed to know. Now I keep the flower pressed in a book, but the silence I flower, and gave me the silence that followed. The hollowness swallowed, no words could say what her quiet said, inside my head. The flower was pretty, but the silence was rare. The space where love hangs its prayer. She picked a flower and gave me the silence that followed. The silence that followed. And I've been quiet ever since. She picked a flower and gave me the silence that followed.